All right, guys, let's slow this down and spin out of it because what happened in Minnesota is being framed as law enforcement, and 37-year-old Renee Marie Good is dead. And those two things are not automatically the same. A Minnesota woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent today, and this may very well be our Kent State moment. ICE immediately claimed self-defense. Here's the problem. Fear is not the legal standard for self-defense. Let's be clear. Imminence is the standard for self-defense. Whether you're a civilian or whether you're a federal agent, unavoidable threat of death or serious bodily harm, not discomfort, not confusion, not I didn't like how fast they were moving. Imminent means the threat right now. And according to city officials, eyewitness accounts, the emerging videos, that standard has not been met. I've seen the video. It's very clear. The shooting occurred at the side of the vehicle when the officer was out of the way and no longer in a threat of danger. If you slow it down, you will see the officer firing into the driver's side window as well as the front window. Let's make something perfectly clear before we move on here. This woman was not accused of a violent crime. She was not armed. She was not charged with assault. She was an American citizen. And crucially, she was in a vehicle trying to leave. Courts have been crystal clear on this. A moving car is not automatically a deadly weapon. It becomes one only if it is being intentionally used as such in a way that creates an unavoidable threat. Driving away is not that. Even if the officer says he was scared, the law doesn't look at fear. It asks whether a reasonable officer under those circumstances would believe deadly force was the only option left. And that's where this whole thing falls apart, because law enforcement doesn't get to create the danger and then claim self-defense when the situation escalates. You can't surround a vehicle, you can't block the exits, you can't create chaos and then shoot when someone tries to leave. That's not defense, that's provocation. And here's something people need to understand. A federal badge does not equal immunity. ICE agents are not soldiers on a battlefield. They are law enforcement officers operating inside the United States, bound by the constitutional limits, state homicide laws, and federal use of force laws. If a local police officer had done this, we wouldn't even be debating it. It would be a crime. The only question would be, is it manslaughter? Is there going to be a federal civil rights suit? Is it going to be second-degree murder? Those are the legal questions, the real ones, and they're not political talking points. And before you say, well, they feared being run over, fear alone is not enough. We've established that. Speculation alone is not enough. We've established that. And a hypothetical future injury that may or may not occur is absolutely not enough. Deadly force is the last resort, not the first explanation. Renee Nicole Good is dead at 37, an American mother and daughter, and her life does not become collateral damage because the shooter worked for ICE. Why does this accountability matter? Not because of ideology, and not because of politics, but because of the rule of law. The badge answers to the law, not the other way around. If the evidence shows the shooting was unnecessary, unjustified, and unavoidable, it was not law enforcement. It was a crime, and no press release can change that. So please like, follow, and share, and do not let them launder violence through authority.